My name is Benny Liu, and I am a gastroenterologist at Highland Hospital in Oakland, California. I started research on NPC starting in about 2005 when I joined the lab of John Dietschy and Stephen Turley at the University of Texas at Southwestern. And so initially I was interested in looking at cholesterol metabolism, and we used the NPC mouse model as a tool to investigate cholesterol metabolism. And then during this time when I joined the lab, there was a landmark paper that came out in 2004 from a group at UCSF that showed that NPC mice were actually lacking a neurosteroid called allopregnanolone, and that when they gave allopregnanolone back to these mice, they actually lived longer and did better. And so in 2005, I decided to try to recreate this experiment in our lab so that we could track cholesterol changes with this new discovered treatment. And the thing about allopregnanolone is that because it's a steroid, it can't be delivered alone. And so it has to be solubilized in something. And what they used was a compound called cyclodextrin. And during that time, when we set up these experiments, we used allopregnanolone dissolved in cyclodextrin, but then as a control, we used cyclodextrin alone. And so when I started doing these experiments, the first experiment was simply, can I recreate what they did and do these mice live longer when I give the allopregnanolone? What we found was that both groups of mice started living longer, which was surprising to us because all along it's been touted that cyclodextrin doesn't have any active activity, or doesn't have any activity. And so I thought at that time that I made a mistake in my experiments. I either contaminated my samples, I mixed up what I gave to the mice, and the mice that were supposed to only get cyclodextrin were getting allopregnanolone also, and so I repeated the entire experiment, this time being super careful to keep everything separate, labeling everything and making sure nothing was contaminated with either compound. And even with the repeat experiment, what we found was that both groups of mice were living longer. And that was really the time that we knew that it wasn't allopregnanolone that was causing the effect, but actually cyclodextrin causing the beneficial effects in NPC. After we figured out that the mice were actually living longer, our next question was, well, exactly what is cyclodextrin doing? And so we set up a whole set of experiments to try to figure out the mechanism. And essentially what we found out was that when we give cyclodextrin to these NPC mice, it is actually releasing all the trapped cholesterol within the endosome lysosome. And once that cholesterol is released, then the cells can actually process cholesterol normally for a while. Not only did the mice live longer, but we saw positive effects in improvement in liver function, decrease in organ size that these mice all have, and overall they just generally did better. When we're doing all these experiments and we started to present our data and publish our data, I remember one day the phone in the lab rang. On the other end was actually a mother of two twins with NPC, and somehow they had found out about our research. And they called us because they wanted to give this compound to their kids. And at that time, this was a brand new discovery. We weren't even sure exactly what it was doing. And so, my first thought was, oh, this is kind of crazy because we don't even know what this compound is doing. But from then on, they worked tirelessly and eventually got this treatment approved to treat the twins, who were one of the first people in the world to actually get treatment with cyclodextrin for NPC disease.